Hey there! I'm Sarah A. Chrisman, the author of the Tales of Chetzemoka, and today I'm going to be making the salmon patties that Addie makes for dinner one night in my latest book, Sparks Press. Like all the foods in the Tales of Chetzemoka, you can find the 19th century recipe at the back of the book. The original 19th century recipe that appears at the end of Sparks Press goes: to 1 small can of salmon add 1 well-beaten egg and a handful of cracker or breadcrumbs. Mix into little cakes and fry until brown. Now, the original recipe doesn't say anything about draining the salmon. You can drain it if you want to. If you don't drain it, be aware you're going to need more breadcrumbs. And actually, if you do drain it, it's a good idea to save the water you drained out so that in case your breadcrumbs are too dry and your dough, this isn't dough, what would you call it? Salmon. in case your salmon's not sticking together when you make your patties, if you've saved out some of the water, you can add a little bit more in. It's all going to depend on how dry your breadcrumbs are. Salmon comes up a lot in the Tales of Chetzemoka, and for good reason. The Pacific salmon has historically been a very important food in the Northwest. It was the daily meat of the indigenous peoples here, and in Sparks Press, Ken recounts the story of a time when he snuck in to watch an Indian potlatch ritual, and he hid behind a pile of smoked salmon. In First Wheel in Town, Kitty buys a salmon from some Indian women on the beach, which was a completely typical interaction in this part of the world in the 19th century. By the end of the 19th century, advances in canning technology made it possible to ship Pacific salmon all over the world. When Rudyard Kipling visited the Northwest in 1889, he marveled at seeing the factories here that canned the salmon that women back home in India kept in their pantries for when company dropped by. He reported seeing one boat drop off a single night's catch of well over 2,000 pounds of salmon, including many individual fish of up to 50 pounds each. Incidentally, when I read Rudyard Kipling's account of visiting Seattle right after the 1889 fire, I just had to give him a cameo in my latest book, which is how he popped up in Sparks Press just long enough to give young Sophie some life-changing advice. As for Sophie's decision to save the fish cannery as a last resort when she goes looking for a job, the idea came from my grandmother's stories about when she worked in a cannery when she was a young woman. Like I've said before, for a writer, everything is material. So there I've got my salmon patties, just like the ones Addie makes for her family in Sparks Press. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a nice thumbs up, and remember to tell your friends about my books. My birthday's coming up on Friday, so if you would give your friends a little nudge about my books, I would consider it a really nice birthday present. Happy reading!